What's going on, boys? It's Salted Neos here, and, well, this is probably not going to be a trend of me doing deck profiles with OCG cards in them, especially ones that are definitely not going to be competitive in any way, shape, or form. I've been messing around with this, and it's been at least somewhat fun, so we're just gonna get right into our advanced Crystal Beast memes. First things first, we got our 3 sapphires, which are important for getting monsters out and not requiring a field spell in order to live. And speaking of that, we have advanced sapphire Pegasus, which means I now have to go into the details of the advanced crystal beasts. So basically, they require advanced dark to live and have slightly upgraded effects from their original counterparts for the most part, except for the fact that they're locked into their sub-archetype. So, Advanced Sapphire Pegasus is basically Sapphire Pegasus, except it also gets from Banished. The downside of that being, well, you now require the field spell in order to live, which, while the field spell is very searchable, if someone pops your field spell, you're kind of just dead. I don't think they needed the Advanced Dark Claws. I think it would have been completely fine if they just locked into their sub-archetype, or even just let Crystal Beast have 3 more Sapphire Pegasus. But, is what it is. At least this one's not. At least this one can't miss the timing. And to continue on, we got our 3 copies of Noble Knight Shieldbearer. Noble Knight Shieldbearer is a cool card. It basically just lets you add another a wind beast that is level 6 or lower to your hand. And while Advanced Dark will turn every crystal beast on the field into a dark monster, it doesn't apply to the deck, so you can still search the sapphires that way, both sapphires, which is really cool. And in order to search this, to help consistency even more, we have our 1 Heritage of the Chalice that searches a Noble Knight monster, which this happens to be. Next we're on to Ruby, so I'm running 2 of the original Ruby because this one can activate on any special summon, as opposed to Advanced Ruby, who just activates when it's summoned. But any special summon all your Crystal Beasts. It lets you summon original Sapphires and go nuts with those. And then the Advanced Rubies are kind of interesting. It's not a straight upgrade, unlike most of the other ones. So Advanced Ruby, it'll still summon only advanced crystal beasts, of course, because that's just what they all do, but it only works when it's summoned by its own effect, as opposed to regular Ruby, who just goes off whenever. But the thing with advanced Ruby is it can summon itself from the back row. So it has benefits and very good reasons to be run. You just probably want both, because they have different use cases. We have our 3 Cobalt Eagle, which is a field spell searcher, and also lets you return stuff. You're never going to use the effect to bounce stuff. I also don't know why you can send it from field for Advanced Dark. Usually that's just like a cool bonus, but the thing with Advanced Cobalt is it can never resolve that effect without Advanced Dark up. And there's no way you'd want 2 Advanced Darks unless you think you're going to get Tornado Dragoned or something. It would be a very weird situation if you managed to summon it. I guess it's cool that it does it in the off chance you do. It's a bonus, but it's a bonus that doesn't make any sense. But because it searches the field spell, we're just going to get right into the field spell. So we have 3 Advanced Dark. It turns all Crystal Beasts on the fielding grave into dark monsters. It changes what plays you can make. If a Crystal Beast would battle, you can send a Crystal Beast monster from your deck to the grave to take no battle damage. And if an Ultimate Crystal battles, it negates the effects of whatever it attacks during battle. I continue to forget that effect exists, so it just comes up and I'm just like, what happened? To continue helping searching, because it's required for your monsters to live, we have 1 Terraforming, and 3 Foolish Burial Goods. That doesn't seem like it would help until you read Bridge of Salvation, which you're never going to resolve the field effect of. The one time I tried to, he negated it, because one of the monsters was Barone, and why would you not Barone out, like a thing that outs Barone, right? So Bridge of Salvation is nuts. You banish it from grave to add both a Crystal Beast monster and a field spell. Of course, advanced Crystal Beast monsters are still Crystal Beast monsters. You can add any of those. Usually, you're going to add one of the sapphires. And then we have the remaining Crystal Beast monsters. We have Amethyst, Topaz, Amber, and Tortoise. None of them are great. They're all slight upgrades. Like, Amethyst lets all of them attack directly, at least all the advanced ones. Topaz is kind of cool. I'm not running multiple, but if you are, you can stack 3 of them to make all your monsters gain 12 and all your opponents lose 12. We got Amber Mammoth, who will basically try to protect your cards and fail because it's never out. Probably should be working on that. It's what they intend for you to do to keep Advanced Dark up, but I mean, non-targeting removal of Advanced Dark still kills them all. Not to mention, keeping Amber Mammoth up is kind of obnoxious, and you'd rather have better options. We got our 1 Emerald Tortoise, because, well, yeah, you're running it. It's kind of also a lot cooler than the original. The original is really bad, it just changes Crystal Beast monsters' positions, but this is a quick effect change anything on the field. You can use it in battle phase on your opponent's turn to just screw with their battle positions and prevent them from attacking, which is kind of neat. Notably, none of the advanced actually die from the back row if Advanced Dark is not up, because it's a monster effect, and they're all spells at that point, which is pretty cool. The only one that has an effect as a spell is Ruby, and I guess the next card, which is Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. I'm pretty sure anyone who's been playing Crystal Beast knows what this thing does by now. You can banish it to special summon a negated Crystal Beast from deck, and add a Rainbow Dragon, or Rainbow Dark Dragon. That's the only target. It's technically an ultimate crystal, but there's no other ultimate crystals in the deck. That's in the main deck anyway. The thing is, though, because it summons them negated, you can summon Advanced Crystal Beast without Advanced Dark up. You're still basically, you're just doing it to get more names for Rainbow Dragon if you're like 1 or 2 away. But it lets you get some of them out of the deck, which is kind of neat. You don't end up having to dead draw them. You're forced to run a Rainbow Dragon for it, but that lets you also use some other new support, which may or may not come up. It depends on if you open Sapphire plus it. But having the ability to just summon a 4K beater after you've already used the trap is pretty cool. Then we got our 3 Ash, which I honestly wasn't even running during the replays, which I probably should have been, because, yeah, deck kind of needed it. I fit more in. I don't know what to take out. I know it's 60 cards, and I really should be able to do that, but it's also high deck count because of the Advanced Crystal Beast. You don't want to draw most of them. And you can consistently get to Sapphire and Cobalt pretty easily. There's definitely space to cut for the imperms I want to run, though. But I just gotta figure it out, because I'm still working on it. Like, Crystal Tree can probably be cut. Yeah, we got Rainbow Bridge, which searches any of the Crystal spell traps, which is pretty cool. Just search most of your back row. You got our 3 Crystal Bond. Crystal Bond has an extra use here, because you can like, place Rainbow in the back row, and then add Cobalt Eagle to add Advanced Dark if you already have a Sapphire, which is nice. You can actually use the Advance. Assuming it doesn't get popped, of course, but like that's a different story. We got our 3 Awakening of the Crystal Lords to add a Bridge card to hand or grave. To grave, so you can use Bridge of Salvation's grave effect, of course, which is neat. You need a Rainbow Dragon in hand or on field to activate the effects. The other effect is to summon one from deck, hand, grave, or spell trap zone, which is pretty cool. But if you control an ultimate crystal, you can get both effects. If you have one in hand, you get one. Usually you're going to get one, but if you summon like Rainbow Overdragon already, you can get both, which is neat. You got 2 Crystal Protection. Target a Crystal Beast monster card you control, destroy it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be able to do that in the back row or not. I can't tell if it's a bug or not. There was a ruling at my locals where like monster card meant monster zone. It says card. I'm not sure if that's an EDOPro bug or not. EDOPro is letting you use the back row cards. I'm not 100% sure if that's intended or not. But if it's in the grave and you have one that's a Crystal Beast placed in your spell trap zones, you can banish it to summon one from your spell trap zone. Neat for Ruby, neat for getting more Sapphires up. Combos really well with Miracle and Grave, but we'll get to that. We got our 3 Crystal Promise to to summon a Crystal Beast in the back row. Pretty good. Just let you get more plays up, let you get more advantage, basically, from the Sapphires. We got our 1 Blessing, which I debate running it too, but you really don't want to see this when you don't have things in grave, or only have Advanced in grave without Advanced Dark up. However, with Advanced Dark, you can revive rubies with it, and then place a ruby and an Advanced Sapphire, summon both, get another Sapphire, which is kind of neat. If Advanced Sapphire could put like Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon in, it'd be crazy, but can't give Crystal Beast too many nice things at once. They can't even have new like main deck monsters that don't die without a field spell, right? We got 2 Crystal Beacon. This was at 3 before I put Ashes in, but you kind of don't have a lot of back row in a lot of instances, so it's kind of situational. Might even go to 1, honestly, just so I can fit imperms in. We got our 1 Crystal Tree. Nice searchable for Rainbow Bridge, but even then, you'd usually just use Miracle now, so I'd probably cut this and a Beacon for 2 imperm, figure out what I do with the last one. Got our 1 Call by the Grave for opponent's hand traps, 1 Double or Nothing, Utopia double package, so it's in there. 3 Ultimate Crystal Formation. Basically, it lets you fusion summon from deck if one of your Crystal Beasts dies in battle. The dying in battle part's kind of obnoxious because you have to keep setting up for it. Otherwise, if you have to keep setting up multiple monsters and pray they don't pop them all, or else you have to do it on your turn, and that's kind of awkward. But if an Ultimate Crystal monster leaves the field because of your opponent's cards, you can basically place as many Crystal Beast cards as you want in the back row. If you still have an Advanced Dark up, that just summons 5 monsters, so that's pretty cool. And rounding off the main deck, we have 2 Crystal Miracle, because it's an Omni Negate that's searchable. I tend to not know the best times to search this, so I end up just not using it unless I draw it, but it's pretty good to have. Onto the extra deck, we got our 1 Rainbow Overdragon, because this is what you summon off Ultimate Crystal Magic. Never use its effect on summon in battle phase, by the way. You'll bounce all your own stuff thinking you gain attack. I know it makes sense that the shuffle all effect is quick effect and the battle phase one, or the attack gain one isn't, but I just get it confused a lot. We got one of our new Rainbow Dragon Overdrive, which is really cool. This card's new, so we're going to go over it. It must be summoned from the extra deck during a duel where you summon an advanced crystal by banishing all the cards, by banishing when it lists, 1 ultimate crystal plus 7 crystal beasts. It would have been summonable off ultimate crystal formation, but it has a summoning condition, so nope. It can't be fusion summoned, basically. It gains 7,000 attack while you have 7 or more banished crystal beasts with different names. So you try to do that, unless you're going to use its next effect, which is really cool. So if it didn't battle this turn, you could shuffle as many cards on the field into the deck as possible to summon any amount of banished crystal beast monsters. Problem with this effect is Advanced Dark exists and needs to remain on the field. So there's a reason Abundance isn't in this list despite being crystal beast and why it's in the side instead, which the side is cards we're going to talk about, with the exception of Small World and Imperm, which I would probably fit in if I had the room. But basically, this thing summons a bunch of crystal beasts back. But if you summon advanced crystal beasts off of it, they always die because there's no way to resolve the effect while Advanced Dark is up. So it's a really cool effect, but you're probably just going to be using this thing as a beater unless you have a bunch of banished non-advanced crystal beasts. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Got our Utopia package of 1 Utopia double for closing games. We got our 1 Baguska for when you don't open Advanced Dark and you have a Sapphire Pegasus, so you can just make it off of Sapphire, getting a Crystal Rainbow Dragon, putting another Sapphire on field, preferably Advanced so you have a second name. You just make this, try and stall until you get it. We got our 1 Giga Brilliant, which honestly I can probably just cut for Tornado Dragon, Abyss Dweller, Lightning Chidori. The list goes on, because you're probably never going to actually use this the way you would in regular Crystal Beasts. So probably that's probably a flex slot. We got our Underworld Goddess because you can summon a bunch of monsters, get rid of annoying cards to out. We got our 1 Axis Code Talker for game closing, our 1 Appaloosa because it's Appaloosa. We got our Unicorn and Phoenix. We got our Dark. Dark is interesting because they're Darks in field and grave, but not in hand and deck, so you can summon this off of any Crystal Beast really, and just take stuff back from the opponent, try and link climb with it, which is cool. We got our 1 Farigite to try and put the Rainbow Dragon back in the deck. It also lets you summon another one to try and continue the chain of Sapphires, getting more monsters out. 1 IP for making plays, and 1 Cross Sheet for the Rainbow Dragons. Because if you summon the Rainbow Over Dragon and have any other Crystal Beast on field, you can link Cross Sheet before you make the big Rainbow Dragon and summon back a Sapphire, which is cool. If you're not gonna just shuffle them all back in, that means you have a big beater and also have a Sapphire to start more plays with. In the side, and by side I mean stuff we're gonna talk about, Small World, because I'm pretty sure this deck plays Small World effectively. There's a lot of overlap, but not a ton. I'm not sure if you run it here or not. Like, Cobalt Eagle has 2. I think Cobalt Eagle's the only one with 2. No, actually. No, this deck doesn't work with Small World. Why is that in here? Never mind. Let's just ignore that this card was ever put here. Doesn't work as well as I thought it did. Imperms, because I'm trying to make room for them. I think I just did. We got our 1 Dweller and Tornado Dragon, which are good other options for the extra deck. I don't like rare value a ton because your opponent's just going to pick Advanced Ruby or Rainbow, like Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon every time because they actually have back row effects. So it doesn't work as well as it used to. Abundance has the same problem as the other board wipes where it gets rid of Advanced Dark, so you're kind of just stuck with monsters that are going to die immediately after. This was an interesting new card, but the problem is it's a trap. I mean, it has a grave effect, but the grave effect is Excavate, pray you hit a Crystal Beast, and then summon it, which has problems, especially with the advanced Crystal Beasts. Shurag and Rugal are here for more extra deck options, and Chidori only works while you don't have Advanced Dark up, but it's still pretty good to know about. Let's get into the replays. So here's the kind of game where you want to know how to use Baguska. Basically, if you don't have Advanced Dark, you just use the Sapphire, get the Rainbow Dragon, use Rainbow Dragon, summon any other level 4, try and proc the effects on EDOPro to stall people out and pray they waste hand traps on them, and make Baguska. For the record, my opponent's not exactly playing optimally. I can acknowledge that because, he's trying to play through Baguska without outing it. I don't know why he's doing this. He really should have just been holding off. Like, he would have gotten Crystal Wing for when I got the monster up, but he decides to make Psychic and Punisher for no reason. As you're about to see. I don't know why he made Psychic and Punisher. He could have just made Crystal Wing and had plays. But we didn't draw anything. I should have set Crystal Miracle for when my plays start, but I didn't think of it until afterward. But he tries to use the effect. He's unaware of the fact that it's only activated effects. But I draw on the last turn of Baguska. I draw a way to use a Advanced Dark, so we're just gonna go for it. Crystal Bond, add Eagles, put Advanced Sapphire. Remember putting something else there, but I have Sapphire in hand, so it makes sense. Gonna put another Sapphire down. Promise. Put another Ruby in. Ruby's gonna summon it plus another Sapphire. The Sapphire's gonna put another monster out. We make a Goddess with the End Punisher just to get it out of the way, and we clear what's left. He just draws a Satellite Synchron and does nothing. And I still had an Omni Negate at this point, and a Call by the Grave for plays in the future. But Protection lets me just put the monster back out. Protection, I kind of forgot that Protection was the summon. I get Protection and Miracle confused. But that's the end of the game, after I called by his End Punisher for badness. So while these replays are of a lot more casual builds, Mr. Rune is probably on the border. And how this game goes is kind of funny. So we get the Advanced Dark like we kind of have to. I accidentally set Sapphire instead of normaling it. Don't mind me. Apparently you can't undo the set button in EDOPro. But we Miracle his extra deck monster. It puts itself back. He summons this, puts the Exchange of the Spirit thing out. And then he tries to call Sapphire and fails. I draw Amber, so I can't do much with it. We Sapphire out a Rainbow Dragon. Miracle to put an Advanced Sapphire out. We get the Ruby. I think my plan was to put Ruby in the back row, but I forgot that if the effects are negated on any crystal beast, it doesn't get the effect to float to the graveyard. So we try and Blessing. He banishes both targets. Sure, whatever, it happens. So I just stick with Ober Dragon and Rainbow Dragon. Probably didn't need to summon the Rainbow Dragon there, but I want the effect to be live on my turn, I think. But it makes what comes next funny. So, dude summons 2 4s, mills a bunch of shit, makes Exciton Knight. Because he milled Protection, I have Ultimate Crystal Magic and Protection. Summons a Ruby. He then destroys the whole field again. I make Ruby, it goes back in. And then I top deck Awakening. The thing is, the big Rainbow Dragon can summon itself from using the monsters in the grave, including the Rainbow Dragon part, so that just makes the effect live, giving me game. He surrenders. This is a quick and clean one, so I have to play the Advanced Dark, of course. Crystal Tree. Tree can do some funny stuff, which we're about to see. We get the Ruby summons itself and the Sapphire. The Sapphire goes off, it places a Tiger, and we just Baguska. When I say funny, I mean Baguska, because Baguska is my favorite card. Well, I Miracle the Fusion Destiny, because there's no way in hell I'm letting that resolve. He tries to Stratos under Baguska, not realizing what Baguska does, apparently. So we just summon these two, makes a Cross Crusader? No idea why. But I just bridge into Bond, and just start going off again. Picked Amethyst? Okay. I thought he had a Dark Engrave when I summoned Dark, but he didn't, so whatever. The whole point was to clear the board, so I can just summon all of these guys. The Sapphires trigger and put more out, and I just swing for game here, because that's it. Oh, I make access code for flexing first, apparently. But yeah, I could have just swung for game there, and I probably should have. Here is a Lyrilusk game. It's probably the closest thing to meta that this deck had a remote chance against. But pure Lyrilusk, so not quite. We Salvation to get a Sapphire and a Advanced Dark. Met the 4s. Still try and bait stuff. We make the Farigite to put the Rainbow Dragon back in for later. Advanced Sapphire. We Rainbow Bridge to put another monster out into the back row, so we can Crystal Tree for a lot of shit. The Crystal Tree games are funny. We get 3 in there with Crystal Tree. Protection will summon the Sapphire. We just summoned 3 Sapphires. And the field is very full. We make the Rugal just to get stuff off the field. I don't know why I promised Amber here. I think I just wanted to keep the field spell protected. I really should not have summoned Rainbow Dragon here so Unicorn was live, but this is still a decent enough board for this match. He Sapphires, I negate it because Sapphires once per turn. He then Swallows Nest for Turquoise when he should have summoned one of the other ones. I think he was still learning his deck. So we Shield Bearer, we get a Sapphire. And we just continue to make Crystal Beast plays. And then he Feather Storms me for some reason. Luckily for me, Ruby is a spell effect when it activates. So we can play that through Feather Storm. And then we change the... And then I try to change the monster and forget that I'm still under Feather Storm. I don't think I've read Feather Storm before this. Here we got one for Sharks. This might... I think this is the last one. So, of course, we have to get the Advanced Dark. All the replays I'm showing start Advanced Dark for the most part, because if you don't, you kind of just lose, unfortunately. It's the way this deck is. We still didn't open great. We just set the Miracle and pass. After getting a token, of course. So we negate the Abyss Shark because Abyss Shark is cool. Then he, for some reason, tributes Abyss Shark. I don't know why he tributes summoned an Abyss Shark, but that is what it is. We proc the Protection by killing the Ruby and the Miracle to summon a bunch. Ruby summons a bunch in the middle of battle phase. I then put the Ruby down for later. He then droplets my Sapphire for some reason. I don't get that, but sure. Beacon, summon back a Sapphire. Sapphire's gonna put another advance in. Make an IP just to get the board cleared, and we make more Sapphires for more plays. Starting to see why Ruby's once per turn. This kind of would get kind of dumb, but we end on Apo Sapphire for this turn. He just sets one. Didn't really have much. We Beacon to get more stuff. Probably could have just set an advanced Ruby there, but I just didn't. Oh wait, Sapphire, duh. That's why. Summon more stuff. Of course, we keep the Mammoth out when we can, because protection. But it doesn't really matter if we're just going to access code for game here. Yeah, that's all we got for this. Deck was a little bit different during most of those tests, but got the point through. You can do funny stuff with this, but is this deck competitive? Absolutely not. You're not going to get any You're probably not going to get very many wins with this if you're playing against actual competitive decks. But for what it is, the deck is kind of funny. I still don't get why it has Advanced Dark as a restriction. I get it was an anime thing, but like, come on, you're printing the cards for real. You should be trying to make them playable. But oh well, it is what it is. Still though, it does kind of suck that you're stuck playing this. Probably would have been cool if they could just search it and use it, but the fact that they're stuck with it really hurts the deck. I don't think it would have been competitive either way. Like, you're still playing Crystal Beast, and Crystal Beast can't play through a whole ton. They're surprisingly resilient in some cases, but if you're requiring a field spell to live that the opponent can just pop, the advanced are always going to be bad. Sucks, but it is how it is. Thanks for watching my rambling for like a half hour. It's probably going to be edited down to below a half hour, but is what it is. Thank you. I'll see you around.